Hey there. Recently, I saw an interview of a very successful businessman who had recently turned 80, and he was obviously an elderly gentleman. And the interviewer asked him, "Do you have any regrets in life?" And he said something that was pretty interesting to me. He said that, when I started when I was young, I did not have any money. I worked hard. I built a business. I became a billionaire. I'm very, very successful. But one thing that I regret so deeply is that I would have traded everything that I have built so far if I had the ability to spend more time with my children. If I had, I would go back and spend more time with my family, because being 80, he has realized that there is nothing more important than family. Being in the startup space, being an entrepreneur, obviously it comes with a thought that you would be dedicating a lot of your time and energy into building the organizations because of the risks involved, and because that is typically the path of an entrepreneur, where the risk profile and the things that could go wrong and the things that need to be done is so great that the 24 hours that a person gets in a day is just simply not enough. Entrepreneurs pride themselves in not sleeping more than 3 hours a day. They pride themselves of working through the weekends, through the holidays, missing important family functions, and they consider it as a badge of honor. I have been in the same position. For example, the day during my wedding, there was an important email that I needed to work on, a report that I needed to work on, and wearing my wedding clothes, I still have the picture with me. Wearing my wedding clothes, I was still working on that, and that was the thing that captured a lot of my mind, and it still does, because every single moment that I'm awake, and perhaps when I'm sleeping as well, that is what I'm thinking about: my customers, about the future, about my team, about where everything is going, being stressed about everything that's happening, and being stressed about the million things that need to be done. And as a responsible person with so much things to take care of, you would obviously be in a position where you might push yourself to spend lesser time with your family, thinking that at this point, at this moment in time, what is important, that I build myself an organization that may last more. But the reality is that it never ends. The reality is that there is no point in time where you would say that, I have nothing to think about, I have nothing to worry, let me spend all my time with my family. Unfortunately, because you have the sense that, hey, if you're not pushing yourself hard, why will your team push yourself hard? And if the whole organization is not pushing themselves against the headwinds of risk and uncertainty, how can you possibly survive? And everything that you've worked on so far would mean nothing. And that is pretty unfortunate, and it does result in a situation where it takes a very negative toll on your mental health. And like the elderly gentleman who I mentioned in the beginning of the interview, inevitably end up in a situation where you regret so many things in your life. As an entrepreneur, I've been fortunate to be have a team that is global, that works from different places, and I have the flexibility to travel as I see fit. But like I said earlier, being an entrepreneur, you have to keep pushing, you have to keep quote unquote hustling, meeting people, sharing your vision, and putting yourself out there like I am right now. And but it does take a mental toll. So having gone through that person's interview, I'm striving myself to spend more time with my family. Perhaps instead of spending 4 hours doing something, maybe I spend 3.5, and that extra 30 minutes, I'm able to carve myself, detach my mind on whatever issues or whatever fires I'm fighting or whatever projects I'm working on, and spend time with my family. The hard part is not pushing yourself to spend time, it's stopping yourself from thinking about work while you're with your family. That, I think, is the hardest part of being being part of an organization that is a startup and is constantly growing. But fortunately, again, I have been blessed with a family that understands my situation, that supports me 100%, and never puts any emotional baggage on me for pursuing the life that I've chosen to. And I think it's that fortunate. And I think that is an important, often unaddressed aspect of entrepreneurship, where you often see things like, hey, I went against my family, I dropped out of school, I did all these things to pursue this one thing, while at the same time antagonizing everyone who loves me. And I don't think that's the right way to go. You may succeed, in either ways, but I think it's important to know at the end of the day, it's the people who love you that you're living for, that you're working hard for, and trying to build a life for. And I think being well aware of the fact that it is important to spend time with your family, take time off, take some time to unplug yourself into whatever is happening, may actually be productive, may actually help you more in doing better in your startup than you would if you were 1000% committed to just one thing and ignoring everything else around you. I mean, we are social beings. I care deeply about what my friends and family think about me, and I would like to think myself as someone who would like to be in a position to help people around me. And my work and everything that I do, building a company, should not get in the way of me having a fulfilling personal life as well. And I think that's something that's important to keep in mind.